helped out a woman who just adopted 2 Yorkies. She adopted them this morning, and she wanted to get them groomed for their first day home. They are so, so cute. So we were able to get our groomer Krista in, and she just finished. I wanted to personally be there when we dropped off her puppies to her. It warms my heart that we're able to help people that way. And I love that during this time, so many people are adopting doggies, and I've heard of so many different shelters out there right now that used to be at 100% occupancy, and they are now at 0% occupancy. I've heard of quite a few of those over in Florida. A lot of the animal shelters are going down in their numbers because so many people are able to adopt pets right now, and that it just warms my heart. So thank you guys so much for being able to watch these videos. I look forward to them. I'm hoping that you do as well. Generally speaking, I will be here 3 days a week right now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I do these at 1 o'clock. Again, sorry for being late today. Today's topic is actually really important because it is sunny, it's beautiful outside, and you know what? They did just open up quite a few parks and trails and that kind of stuff to be in the outdoors with our pets. And there are definitely some precautions that you need to take. And really what I'm talking about here is foxtails, the dangers of foxtails and other things like foxtails that can get stuck in your pet while you're out hiking. So I have here some samples I want to show you, but I also want to just kind of tell you a story. This was many years ago now. I had 2 doggies. I had an English Mastiff and a Corgi mix. And my little Corgi mix used to love going in our backyard, and on the side of the house we had just like a bunch of dry weeds and grass, and it was just like an older dried out area, and his favorite thing ever was to go in that area and tan. He would just go and he would relax in the sun, and it was his thing. He loved it so much. What we didn't know was there was thousands of foxtails in our backyard, and we had no idea what they were, that they were an issue at all. So Tazzy went out there one day, and he goes and he's like running through his area, and he comes inside and he's sneezing like crazy. And he's sneezing so much that actually his nose starts to bleed. So he's sneezing like crazy, and now there's blood everywhere, and I am freaking out. So of course I rush him to the vet, and I actually worked at a veterinarian hospital back then, which was really good. I was able to get in right away, and they looked up his nose, and they told me he had a foxtail up his nose. And I was like, what is that? Like, what do I do? What should I do? So they ended up having to actually put him under and remove it surgically. So interesting story. I've got my own experience with foxtails. They're really bad, they're really dangerous, and they're definitely something you want to know a little bit more about. So what is a foxtail? A foxtail is, so they grow mainly in like open fields. They grow outside, of course, but they can be anywhere. So I was actually walking a couple dogs last week, just right outside Torrey Gardens apartment complex, and just in like the main area where there's really cute, really pretty flowers, and dogs go there all the time. There was actually foxtails growing right there. So just because you are in your own neighborhood doesn't mean that foxtails aren't there. The thing with foxtails is they're really, really long, and they grow in clusters, and they actually grow up the stem. So I'm going to show you a picture on my computer so you know exactly what it looks like. But the thing is that as they separate, they burrow themselves into things, and they start to grow more. So just because there's some in one area, as soon as they fall off of that stem, they fly in somewhere else and they start growing there, which is why they're everywhere. I mean, they're just everywhere, and they grow like so much. So let me pull up my picture here. I want to show you some photos of what they look like in the wild. You can Google this yourself. You can see that they grow really tall and they're really long. Now this is a picture of one, and when you're out, there's thousands of them. And again, they grow like crazy. So I went ahead and grabbed one from my walk the other day. I want to show it to you, just in case you've never seen a foxtail by itself. I put it in this package so that I didn't lose it, because after this video, I'm throwing this whole thing away. Okay, so this is what the foxtail itself looks like. Now, it looks like a little grain, but as you can tell, they are like basically a ton of little things coming off of them. See? So, just because you get one, this thing turns into a million more. They're so, so gross. So, let's talk about what to do if you think that your doggy has one. So you go out, you're walking, maybe you're off trail or whatever it is. The second you get home, you need to inspect your dog. Now, there's specific areas to look into for the foxtails. One of them being the feet. Now, the foxtails love, obviously, the feet is the easiest entrance for foxtails to get into. And what you want to do is separate their little toes, and you want to look inside the toe web area as well as under their paw pads, because they generally stick right in there, and that's the easiest spot. And then as they're walking, the issue is it'll start to go up a little bit more. You want to check their ears, especially if your doggy has floppy ears. As they're walking, their ears are flopping or whatever it is, and if the foxtail gets inside, it can start digging its way down. Like I mentioned earlier, foxtails do burrow, so once it's in the system, whenever kind of opening that it goes in, it kind of worms its way more. So wild foxtails, like, you might not think it's that big of a deal. If they get into their nose or something like that, it can actually go up to their brain and cause death. If untreated, it can cause a lot of different infections. So really, be played with. Sorry. Yeah, so if it gets in their ear, what you'll notice is they'll do a lot of shaking, a lot of like trying to itch at their ear. So you definitely want to open up their ear, really look inside, make sure there's no foxtails in there, clean them out if you see them. Another spot is in the eyes. That one's really, really gross. You'll definitely know if there's a foxtail in their eye. You can see that right away. There might be bleeding, there might be extra discharge, something like that. So make sure you check their eyes. Like I talked to you about Taz and how he got it in his nose. He was sneezing like crazy, but it took a while for there to be any blood. So if they're sneezing just constantly, there's an issue going on. You want to make sure that you're getting them to a vet right away to get whatever is in there out, especially if it's a foxtail, because like I said, it can grow up and get into their brain, and that's just not something you ever want to be around. And then of course, like their private areas, you really want to check that. That's right at the level of where the foxtails grow. And these things are really, really easy to get on the inside. I'll show you the very end of it again. You know, it looks like a little stem, but they're pretty sharp too. So as soon as it gets in, it just works its way up and does whatever it wants. This is not something a pet owner wants to deal with. So if you think that your pet has a foxtail anywhere in its body, first thing you want to do is call your vet right away, and you want to get them to a vet. We don't recommend removing them yourself because, again, look at how many little needles basically are there. So if you try to remove this yourself and you don't remove the whole foxtail, you're leaving your dog prone to a lot more issues like infections and stuff like that. So we really, really don't recommend removing them yourself. Call a vet and get it removed professionally as soon as you can, because they burrow. Just because it might be in one specific spot, if you wait too long, it's going to start moving up and it's going to start getting really, really bad. It could have been an issue. It could have been a thing where it could have just been pulled out right away by a vet. But if you wait too long and it starts to burrow its way up, it might actually need to be removed surgically, which is not good for anybody involved. So definitely recommend seeing a vet right away if you think that your doggy has a foxtail stuck in them. I wanted to show you this other thing too, because this was pulled out from a dog here actually, who went for a walk, and I don't have a name for this. I was given an unofficial name of spiral tweed. I tried to Google that, couldn't find it, but this thing is crazy looking. So I hope you can see it. It's actually, because of my gloves, I'm covering the sides, but this thing is really, really crazy because it's got little thorns on both sides, and the tweed itself is going around the stem of whatever this thing is, and because it's got those little, arrows on the sides. This thing can get stuck in your dog either way, whereas this one at least only really has one pointed entrance. This thing can get in, you know, 2 different ways, and you can just imagine how painful it would be to have either one of these inside your body somewhere if you're a doggy. So as soon as you take your dog out, especially if you're in like a really foresty area, you're on a hike or something like that, you want to make sure that you're checking the main points: ears, eyes, nose, feet in between the toes, under the paw pads, and then their private areas. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you have any foxtail stories like mine, let me know. I'm curious. FIDUS is still here if you guys need anything. We have veterinarians that we recommend. And you guys can call us if you need any assistance. Our phone number here is 858-925-6152. I'm Jasmine, General Manager here. I'm gonna see you guys on Monday at 1 o'clock, right on time. I've got a great video. It has to do with Signature and their line of dog food. We carry the Signature dog food wet and dry here, and so we're gonna learn more about them. They're a grain-free product. I can't wait for this one. I hope that you guys are excited for it. If you happen to have missed any of this, we plan on getting it to our page within 24 hours, so you can go back and watch it with your friends or pick up whatever information you might have missed. So thank you so much for joining in. I will see you guys on Monday at 1. Bye.